Now, any issue that ties our health to that of multi-billion-dollar industries always ends up becoming highly emotive. And so the EU's decision to delay a vote on whether to extend the use of weed killers based on glyphosate has once again brought the issue under the spotlight. The European Parliament wants the controversial herbicide to be phased out completely by 2022, with an immediate ban on non-industrial use. Now, in June of last year, the EU passed an 18-month extension to allow for further scientific study. Since then, the European Chemicals Agency concluded that there was no evidence to link glyphosate to cancer in humans. But in 2015, the World Health Organization said that the substance could cause cancer. Its findings led to international disputes and multi-million-dollar lawsuits. Glyphosate is the key ingredient in Monsanto's best-selling weed killer Roundup. The company's share price fell 0.33% after the EU vote was delayed. Now, a recent study by Purdue University in the US suggests a glyphosate ban could see farmers losing around $7 billion annually. But the Endocrine Society suggests the health costs are far higher. It says in Europe alone, the use of chemicals such as glyphosate has an annual price tag of up to $320 billion. That is 1.2% of the continent's GDP.
Monsanto has shown such amazing pressure to try to get glyphosate relicensed again and again, come out with a tax on IARC, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is a highly respected body of the World Health Organization. Monsanto needs to stop, and the EU needs to get out of bed with Monsanto.
Now, let's get more on this with Jack Parrock, who joins me in Brussels. Jack, great to have you with us. Why can't the Europeans decide on what to do about glyphosate?
Well, this has become an extremely toxic issue here in Brussels and among the member states. 16 countries, we believe today, in the internal Standing Committee on Food and Plant Health that was supposed to today, we expected them to either extend the licence or not of glyphosate as a product to be used as a herbicide in the European Union. We believe that 16 countries were in favour of it, 2 abstained, but that wasn't enough out of the 28 to push through this licence extension with 10. Specifically France, we understand, is the most contrary in this issue, really doesn't want glyphosate to be used anywhere in the European Union. There's a lot of political pressure over this issue, and there's a lot of scandals over it. A lot of questions over who has conducted the scientific studies and whether Monsanto itself has put too much political pressure. And that's why there's such an amount of controversy. And simply today, the member states and the European Commission couldn't come to an agreement to get this licence passed.
Right, so you mentioned there the pressure that Monsanto reportedly has been putting on all of this. How much of a factor has this been in this impasse that we're seeing now?
Well, this is exactly it. Currently, most of the scientific bodies in the European Union and around the world say that glyphosate is not going to cause cancer in small dosages and small amounts that might be consumed through crops in the body. But still, because there was a report by IARC, which is a research body, a semi-autonomous part of the World Health Organization, that was there to basically decide whether things are carcinogenic or not. And they once said that it was. And that's basically caused so much headache for Monsanto as a company. And they've really found it difficult to shake off this carcinogenic line. But they say that the science is proven that it should work. Right. After that, however, there have been a series of leaked papers which have said that essentially that have shown that Monsanto may have tried to kill stories that it didn't like about glyphosate.
Jack, one more question finally before we go. What happens next in this debate?
Well, the European Commission says that it is simply going to try and get this committee together once again. The Commission proposed a 5-year extension, down from 15 and 10, which is much closer to what the European Parliament wanted. They want it phased out by 2020. There'll be more discussions behind closed doors, and we'll wait to hear. Basically, December 15th is when the extension needs to be granted, otherwise Monsanto won't be able to sell Roundup farmers won't be able to access the herbicide. If that happens, the green side will be very happy, but for Monsanto, it could have a major effect on their business in the European Union.
Jack Parrock in Brussels, thank you very much indeed.